Right, good afternoon class. So at this point we're looking at yesterday you have written a test. You'll be writing another one soon. As you guys are just making my marking so easy. Huh? Yeah, of course the same. Okay, because these sections you are writing in your upcoming exam. Okay. So you're writing on graphs and finance. Okay. And I think, did I give you another topic?
Yeah.
Which is?
Probability.
Probability. So those three. Okay, so let's first get these two sorted out. So you are writing another test on functions and finance. Both F's, no? Finance and functions. It says nothing about the maths itself. Okay. People, this was class test 1, term 3. Yeah, put your class test 1, term 3. Right, die gaat ons. So we are told that the sketch below are the graphs of f of x equals a times b to the x. So what type of graph is f? Exponential graph. Not so. And g of x equal to p over x plus q. What type of graph is that? Hyperbola. Not so. It's hyperbola. Why? Because there are the unknowns in the denominator. F of x cuts the y-axis at 0 and 2, which is a, and c, which is 1 and 6. C lies on both graphs, which is also the point of intersection. Please don't die yet. Okay. So if you die in this class, then I must write a whole report saying what was your last words and all of those things. Okay. And I, don't like writing. I just want to do maths. Okay. So, so you need a little water, Michael? I can give you some. Some. You sure? So sanitizer you don't need. People don't drink sanitizer, no? C lies on both graphs. G of x cuts the x-axis at the point B, which is 4 and 7. Question said, calculate the value of A and B. People, where does A and B come from? Where does it fit in? Exponential graph. Not so. So 1.1. So as you can see, it's coming from there. I'm going to, as you can see on the exponential graph, it is this graph here. Not so. Alright. So I'm going to substitute. I always substitute on the y-axis first. So substitute A, which is 0 and 2, into f of x. Not so. Remembering that's a y and that there's your x. So that's an x and a y. So 2 is equal to a times b to the 0. Anything to the power 0 is 1. So a is equal to 2. Not so. So what do I have now? F of x is equal to 2 times b to the x. That's what I have so far. You guys understand? So now what do? I substitute c, which is 1 and 6. That's the x and the y again. So 6 is equal to 2 times b to the 1. Divide by 2 both sides. So b is equal to 3. So your a is 2 and your b is 3. Easy does it. Did you see that, people? So what's my f of x? F of x is equal to 2 times 2 times 3 to the x. Could that be written as 6 to the x? Can that be written as 6 to the x? No. Why? Because of the unknown in the exponent, yes. Yes. Okay. And take this off, not because it's wrong, because I need the space to do the calculations. Okay. Let's see what's the next question. What's the next question having in store for us? Here it says calculate P and Q. People, where does P and Q fit in? It's the hyperbola graph, not so. the hyperbola graph. So 1.2. The hyperbola graph is going through B, which is 0, 4 and 0. So I'm going to substitute B, which is 4 and 0, into g of x. Okay. Remembering that's the x and the y. So 0 is equal to p over 4 plus q. So take that over. Negative q is equal to p over 4. Cross multiply. So p is equal to negative 4q. And this equation. Well, how do I know I'm going to simultaneous equations? There are two unknowns, p and q. Okay? Why wasn't there in the previous sum? Because I've substituted what's lying on A first. It already eliminated one of the variables, namely b in the first calculation. Did you see that? So what do I do now? You substitute the other point, which is C, which is 1 and 6, into g of x. Okay, to get another equation out. So again, that's a x and a y. So 6 is equal to p over 1 plus q. So that would simply be 6 is equal to p plus q. And this equation 2. These simultaneous equations in the making. Okay. I think I made mistakes now. It's 1. It's 4. Nope, it's correct. So now we're going to substitute equation 1 into equation 2. So wherever I see a p, I put a negative 4q. So 6 is equal to p minus 4p. Wherever I see a p, I'm putting it in the wrong place. No? Wherever I see a p, I'm going to replace it with negative 4q. So it's going to be 6 is equal to negative 4q plus q, which is negative 3q, divided by negative 3, so q is minus 2. So that's the one value you're looking for. So what do I do with that? You sub it into equation 1 or 2, and you go with 1. So therefore, p is equal to negative 4 times negative 2, which is 8. There's your p and there's your q. Which means to say g of x is now equal to p, which is 8 over x minus 2, which is your q value. Okay, so simultaneous equations in the making. Okay? You must tell me if I haven't taught you something, no? Have I taught you simultaneous equations? Yes, I spoke about it. I don't know if you guys have listened. Okay, did we determine the equations of graphs? Yes. Okay. Number 1.3. Write down the equation of h, the reflection of f about the x-axis. So if something is reflected about the x-axis, what's the rule? If something is reflected in x-axis, what becomes negative? The y becomes negative. If it's reflected in the y-axis, x becomes negative. Okay? If you didn't know that when I spoke about it, write it down now. Which is all of you supposed to be writing down. Who got that summary? Okay. So again, write down the equation of h, the reflection of f. So the f of x graph is 2 times 3 to the x. That's the f of x graph. What becomes negative of the f of x graph? The y becomes negative. So that is negative y is equal to 2 times 3 to the x. Which means to say that is negative 2 times 3 to the x. Okay? Thereafter, has been translated 3 units down. So if it's shifted, the graph shifts 3 units down. What happens? I subtract 3 on the equation. So y is equal to minus 2 times 3 to the x minus 3. What if the graph had to go 5 units up? Plus 5. That's it. 3 units down, minus 3. 5 units up, plus 5. 12 units up, plus 12. Okay? Can you believe you let that one go to waste? (1.4) In question 1.4 we are told, let's just take us out. In question 1.4, if k of x equal to g of x plus 3. So what does that mean? G of x, what is g of x? It's the hyperbola graph. Plus 3, what happens there? Shifts, yes? 3 units up. So k of x is the hyperbola graph which is shifted 3 units up. Calculate the value of the values for x for which k of x is more than 0. So if you look at this hyperbola graph here, if it says where g of x has to be more than 0, in other words it's going to be this part of the graph here. From 0 till the only. Not so. But what happens to this graph is moving 3 units up. So this, if this moves 3 units up, then that graph is going to look like that side. Not so. So that graph might, as you can see here, g of x is not cutting the x-axis on the left-hand side of the y-axis. Not so. However, if I move this graph 3 units up, definitely will cut the x-axis. Can you see that, people? So in other words, it's where it cuts the x-axis, less than that value here, whatever that is, and more than 0 here, whatever that value is. Why? Because that is y is equal to 0, it was more than 0, it's above that graph. Okay? So I know that you guys are looking very confused there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to draw the graph without this information. Okay. So if you're looking at the g of x graph plus 3, so currently the g of x graph is 8 over x minus 2, no? 8 over x minus 2. If you now say it's the g of x plus 3 graph, then I must add 3 on that side as well. Okay, which is now k of x is equal to 8 over x plus 1. So if I draw this graph, okay, the asymptote is at y is equal to 1 now. Can you see that? Y is equal to 1. The graph is in the first quadrant and in the third quadrant. Why? Because that's positive. So that value is positive. Okay. So what happens is, I need to know what's that x value. Why? Because k of x is more than 0. So that's y is equal to 0. More than is above. So it's this part here and that part of the graph. Can you see that? So in other words, x is less than whatever that x value is there, and of course x is more than 0. Can you see that, people? So we say, so we need to work out that x value. But what is that to us? It's your x intercept. How do you calculate x intercept? You get y equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 8 over x plus 1, you take it 1 over, becomes minus 1 is equal to 8 over x. So x is minus 8. That's negative 8. So my answer I'm looking for here was x is less than negative 8 or x is more than 0. Okay. Hey boss, you alright? Sold out. Okay. Will you guys understand? If you don't, just watch the video again. Which you also don't want to do, no? You feel like I'm going to get a lot of money if you watch my videos? You know, I need to have millions of viewers to get money. So if you watch it, you're not going to make me rich. No? That was what you're trying not to do. No? That's the only reason why you don't watch the videos. No? Am I right? Oh yeah. People don't talk. Right. If Lala invests 50,000 at a simple interest rate of 11, or 11 and 7.8% per annum, how much interest would she earn over 10 years? One of two ways of doing this. Simple interest in grade 9, we followed the formula. Simple interest equal to B times 3 times R over 100. Not so. That gave you simple interest only. So it was 15,000 times time, which is 10 years, times your rate, which is 11 and 7/8 over 100. So that was 15,000 times 10 times 11, the mixed fraction, 11 and 7/8 over 100. That gives us an interest of 17,812 rand, 17,812 rand and 50 cents. Otherwise, you could have used the formula that we are currently using, simple interest equal to P into 1 plus I times N. But remember that A value is your interest plus your principal. Okay? So that is going to be 15,000 rand into 1 plus I, which is 11 and 7/8 over 100, times, how many years is this for? 10 years. Okay, so that gives us 15,000 into 1 plus 11 and 7/8 over 100. What would I converted that to a decimal? What's the name? Divide by 100 first. And this is times by 10 years. So that gives me a return of 32,812 rand. 32,812 rand and 50 cents. But remember that A is equal to P plus I, your interest in the rands. Not so? So to calculate your interest, it's going to be A, which is 32,812 rand and 50 cents, minus your principal, which is 1,500 rand, which gives you 17,812, 50. Okay. I know most of you did that calculation. You only got one mark. Not so? Because you're leaving out the main things. So the question says, how much interest would she earn? Not the return. Okay? Then normally the question is, how much is in the account? Then that would have been 32,812. Why is it 3 marks? Because that is the simple way of doing it. Remember, when we give you something, we always try and get the shortest method, and then that is how we allocate marks. Okay? And this is clearly a 2 mark or 3 mark for doing this calculation. Okay? Looks like you guys are still writing. Right. Let's look at the next one. In number 3, we are told that Oneli invests a certain sum of money in a bank that paid a simple interest. The amount grew to. So if you look at the timeline here, okay, a certain amount of money is invested. Okay? The amount grew to 240 Rand at the end of 2 years. She waited for another 3 years. So that takes you to T5. And got a final amount of 300 Rand. What was the principal? What's the principal? The starting value. What's the principal amount that she invested at the beginning of the beginning? So in other words, you want to calculate X. Then we are told that the interest remained constant, which means to say the interest here is the same as the interest. So the interest is constant throughout. You see that, people? So in other words, I actually first need to calculate what my interest is, not so. Because otherwise, moving from that point to here, to calculate X, I need to know my interest. However, the interest can be determined here. Can you see that, people? So what type of interest is this? Compound interest. So which formula do I use? The compound formula. Not so? Now why tell me compound? What's wrong with you? Okay, so the simple interest formula, A is equal to P into 1 plus I times E. So it grew to 300 Rand. So it's 300. The principal amount? 240. Into 1 plus I. I is what we're calculating. Times, how many years is this for? From 2 to 5 years. So what do I do first? Divide by 240. Okay? Then I take the 1 over minus 1 equals 3i. Then I divide by 3 to get I. And I multiply it by 100 to get my rate. Okay? So it's going to be 30 over 24 minus 1. That must be divided by 3. And that times it by 100. So that's going to give you 8.33%. Okay? You all understand that? Then what happens now? To calculate X, I must work back. Same formula. Why? Because that's simple interest. However, the interest we know now is 8.33%. So you got again A, which is X in this case. No, P is X. However, we ended with 240 Rand. The principal amount was X into 1 plus I, which is 8.33%, so it's 8.33 over 100, or 0.08333, times, how many years was that for? 2 years. How do I get X on its own? I divide both sides by its product factor. Okay. So X is equal to, we go 240 over 1 plus the answer over 100 times 3 times 2, sorry. Gives you an answer 205 Rand and 71 cents. 205 Rand and 71 cents. Okay. Next question. 4, sorry. 5,000 Rand is deposited into a savings account. They double over a period of 8 years. So if 5,000 Rand is doubled, then what is their A value? 10,000. Your return is in 10,000.
Mrs. Allard.
Sold out. Okay. Calculate the annual interest rate at which this will happen if the interest is compounded annually. So what are we calculating here? I. Not so. So what's my formula? I is equal to P into 1 plus I exponent. What's your A value? 10,000 man. Equals P 5,000 into 1 plus I is what we're calculating. The exponent 8 years. So in pursuit of calculating I, divide by 5,000 both sides. So I get 2. Then I take the 8th root. So I remember that's now gone. The 8th root of 2. Then I minus it by 1. Then I'll get my I value. Not so. But what do they want? The rate. So I multiply that by 100. So it's the 8th root. So you press shift. That button. Whoops. Shift. There's the 8th root of 2 minus 1. The answer times 100 gives you 9,05%. Okay? 9,05%. Alright. Well, that's how you get 24 marks. Okay? Coming back to what we're currently busy with, we're busy with number patterns, correct? Right, we are number patterns. The homework was exercise 3.3. Right, any issues with 3.3? Again, say no. Number 1, no problem. Number 2? I think you have to do number 2, no?
Yes.
No problems here? No. So no problems in number 2, in 3.3. 3.4, variety of number patterns. Number 2. No problems in number 2. Number 3. Number 4. 5. Number 7. 8. Yes. So this is exercise. Exercise 3.4. Page. Sorry? 67.
68, sir.
I can't believe you guys have no problems. It's either that or you have no homework. You didn't do the homework. And you have no problems. But now why in the exam, in the test, and you get what you get? I don't understand. The test, you got a total different picture to paint. Right, let's see here. Number 8. As a start, Linda earns for 1,400 per month as a sales assistant. Each month thereafter, she receives 40 Rand increase. Calculate what Linda will earn each month for the first 4 months. So what does she earn in the first month? 1,400. Second month, 1,440 Rand. The third month, 1,480 Rand. The fourth month, 1,520 Rand. The next month, what's it for? 1, 2, 3, 4, and there we go. Stop there. Write down a formula for the amount she earns after n months. So we're setting up a formula here. So what is this? How do you move from one term to the next? You're adding 40. Not so? So this follows a formula. Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1t. What's your a value? 1400 plus n minus 1 times 40. We multiply this in. So it's 1400 plus 40n minus 40. So it's 40n plus 1360. Okay? C. See, the question says, how much will Linda earn after 1 year? So how many months in a year? 12. So in other words, you're working out T12. So wherever I see here n up to the 12. So it's 40 times 12 plus 1360 rand. 40 times 12 plus 1360 rand gives us 1840. 1840. C. D, sorry, there was. By what percentage did the salary increase during the year? How do you calculate percentage increase? Who can remember that from grade 9? Percentage increase is going to be a difference over original, yes, times 100. The times 100 you all know. How do you work out the difference? It's going to be 1840 minus, what's the original that you earn? 1400 over original, which is 1400 times 100. So it's going to be 1840 minus 1400 over 1400 times 100 gives us 31,43%. So it's 31,43%. That is how much the salary increased from the first month to the 12th month. Okay. Yes? You want to take a picture? Okay, take a picture. All right. Number 9? No. Number 10? No. Number 11? 10? Yes. So number 10, we are told that a small triangle is placed as follows. So, small triangles are placed as follows. Okay? Write down the next, draw the next pattern. So the next pattern would look something like that. Not so. Oops, not that one. Are you seeing it up? Just draw the thing properly. So that is the first one, second one. That's what I want to do, so you can see how my drawing is. Better this drawing, huh? Let's go again. There, there, there. Okay? So that goes down, right? It goes down, and Okay? Not exactly like that, but something like that. Not so. So that is A. B. Write down the number of small triangles in the fifth pattern. So how many triangles are here? 1. Then 4. Then 10. No? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I get 16. Is that correct?
Yes,
Then the next one should have been 25. Can you see that, people? Write down a formula. This is free to us. So what's the formula? You see, this is 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared. So the nth term is going to be n squared. Right, you guys understand? It's supposed to be n here, no? So it's going to be n squared. Number 11? Huh? No. Number 12? Reason number 12. So 3.5 is the division exercise, not so? Right, that is due for Wednesday. Alright. So our next heading, with the next section we will be looking at functions, finance, probability. I think we started probability already. Yeah? We did number patterns now. So your next heading is stats, statistics. Statistics, and I think we'll start tomorrow for that. You've got 15 minutes left. Yes, sir. Okay, so I'll stop the video at this point. I'll give you time to reflect on your result. Right. Otherwise, I think we can. Did I give you homework on that probability? Okay, let's talk a bit about the probability. We take it slow on that, okay? But I'll stop the video at this point because this is finance.